Alright, folks. Tonight, we should be able to get Shiny Enamorus. I have only 9 more to get. 9 more. That's doable. We can do that tonight. So first, last time I got the Peat block, and we need to evolve Ursaring into Ursaluna. I am so thankful that I had... I played another file and I had the side mission to get the Peat block untouched. Because damn, is getting the Peat block a real pain. Alright, so I sent over the Ursaring to this file. I'm pretty sure I did. Yep. Do I have the Peat block in my inventory, in my bag? Yes, I do. And I think the best place to do this was here. Oh, do I not even have the camp on this file? No, I don't. Pretty sure I need this camp. Because the quick travel point is essential. Did I need to do anything for this, or did I just have to go there? So how's everyone doing tonight? I wasn't able to do this yesterday. Yesterday night, I had dinner with my relatives, my uncle, my grandfather, my cousins. And I didn't realize it was yesterday night. I thought it would be tonight. Man, you missed the Eon flute. What do I do for this again? Wait, what mission was this? Crap. Where do I go again? Oh, it's just a little up ahead. Yeah, I thought the dinner with my relatives would have been yesterday. No, was going to be tonight, not yesterday night. Anyways, let's see. Yesterday night I went to dinner with the rest of my family, and we went to a restaurant that I haven't been to in like 10, 15 years maybe. It's It's a restaurant my family and I used to go to all the time when we were younger, and I think we would go with my grandfather as well. Like the rest of my relatives, I think we would all go as well. But yeah, it's been like 10, 15 years since the last time we went there, and I'm surprised it's still there. I think the last time I went was when my cousin was maybe a newborn. Like, still a baby. And, well, look at him now. He is in high school. I don't remember what grade he's in. Maybe he just started high school or like a year in. And let me tell you, it was packed yesterday night. Given last night was, at some point, Chinese New Year. I don't know if yesterday was... I don't know. People are saying today is the first day of the new year. I don't really care. I guess yesterday was their New Year's Eve. I don't know. But yeah, it was packed yesterday. Super packed. You know, I actually asked my cousin, why don't you guys get a wheelchair for Grandpa? Since Grandpa, he's old. He doesn't really move as much anymore. I forget where I should go. There's a spot somewhere that is really good for spotting the moon. Was it there? Was it the arena over there? But yeah, you know, Grandpa, he would still have to... Grandpa would still move around in the house, you know? But he would still need to walk around and get into the car. But I mean, like, let's see. How full is the moon? Did I get lucky, get full moon? First try? You know, Grandpa would still have to walk around, but every time he gets out of the car, why don't we invest in a wheelchair to wheel him into the restaurant, right? Did I actually get lucky and get a full moon first try? Wow, sweet! So you want to hear something funny? So pretty much every time I have dinner with my grandfather, and while the rest of my relatives, a question always comes up, do you have a girlfriend yet? And I just have to be the you know, the embarrassed, ashamed family member that I am and be like, no, I don't. Still no. I know Grandpa wants me to marry so that he can be alive to see a grandchild marry. Actually, a grandson marry. You know, he was from a different time. He doesn't really care that my sister got married. He really just wants to see me get married. Anyway, so, like, what's funny is, my grandpa, last night, he told me, grandson, find yourself someone smart. That's what you should be looking for. That's the #1 thing you should be looking for in a woman. That's the keeping trait right there. If she is smart, capable, able to help you in life, if she's smart, that's the thing you should look for. And I'm just thinking, man, like grandfather, like grandson. Because you guys have heard me go over and over about how you know, I admit I'm not very smart. And I've already said before that the top thing, the one thing I really need in a woman is that she's smart. Given the fact that well, let's face it, I'll be dead at this point if I was left to fend for myself. This isn't even the file I need to be in right now. Yeah, the one thing, the top thing I need in a woman is for her to be smart. That is the top priority, and even I've been saying that for years. So, like, yeah, like grandfather, like grandson. But you know, that's easier said than done. Whoops, not what I meant to do. Finding a smart girl is easier said than done, because let's face it, girls as smart as Akane aren't interested in short, chubby, stupid, fat guys like me. But a guy can dream. Anyway, so we have a couple more evolutions in, well, regular Legends Arceus. And then we have to move on to some other games to get some of the other evolutions ready. So that was yesterday night. Tonight, well, I'm late tonight because I kind of didn't expect to have yet another dinner. Because today, I guess, is the first day of the new year, the first day of the Chinese New Year. I honestly don't give a damn about this holiday. But because today is supposedly the first day, my dad didn't go to work. He took today off. And so I had to spend it with him. At least the morning and early afternoon. So, once we woke up, well, not even once, little after we woke up, my dad asked me if I wanted to go to get dim sum with him and his friends. You know, get that dim sum with him. This is the wrong way for me to... Oh, right, they're all in Pokemon Home. No wonder I don't have anything to evolve. I put them all into Home. So, my dad had already made plans with his friends to get some Chinese brunch. And so, yeah, I tagged along. I don't really care about seeing his friends or anything. I just went for the food. And, no surprise, after we were done eating and we came back home, my dad's friends came back home with us, and, well, they just played Mahjong the whole night. They're still playing now! It's 10 at night, and they've been going on it... What? They've been going on since, like, 3 in the afternoon. So yeah, my dad and his friends are still playing Mahjong. Me personally, I don't know how to play the game. I don't know how to. That's not what I meant to do. Alright, just move everything over. And, well, if you guys remember a little bit of time ago, I mentioned how my dad has a friend who has a daughter. And I was basically saying, well, this is, like, not even just the best. This is the only opportunity I have at the moment. And, yeah, my dad's friend is here. Oh, right, that's not even... So yeah, my dad's friends are here, and then they just stayed over for dinner, so I had to drive out and go get some pickup. What? Go pick up some takeout. And then during dinner, you know, my dad's friend does seem to like me. He was constantly praising me, like, oh, your son is so good, so well-behaved. He cooks dinner, he cleans, any girl would be lucky to have him. And I'm just like, where are all these lucky ladies, I don't see any of them. You know, I didn't want to be direct to his face about it. Because my friend actually asked me, like, did you ask him about his daughter yet? And I'm just like, I don't want to be that direct to him. I don't want to just, you know, pull him aside and be like, how you doing, sir? Hey, how's that daughter of yours? Or I don't want to just appear behind him while he's with my dad and just butt in like, hey! Tell me about that daughter of yours. I don't want to do that. Anyways, hold on. Even though I should know this already, which ones do I need to evolve? Oh, right, this one. This one's a pain. Let's get this one done. Aw, crap. You know what? I need to look this up, too. What level does Stantler learn Psy Shield Bash in this game? Anyway, so my dad's friend, he, once again, just randomly in conversation, just drops the bombshell that, like, he said himself he's concerned about the fact that his daughter is in her 20s and still not dating. It's like, okay, that's a good sign. I like the sound of that. But he then reiterates the fact that, yeah, but she's really not interested in dating because she's in school. She wants to focus on school. It's like, well, nothing's perfect in this world. Alright, Psy Shield Bash learns at 21, but has to be 31 before I can, you know, do Agile or Strong. So I need like 20 levels on my Stantler. much would 5 do? Ooh, close. Perfect. Huh? Wait, how do I change moves again? Change moves. Psy Shield Abash. So I need to use this 20 times, I'm pretty sure. Let's take a look. Yep, Agile Psy Shield Bash 20 times. I should probably put a counter on the screen. What? Could have sworn I put it on. Oh, I had to hit X to confirm. Damn it, Bidoof has a chance to flee. Oh, speaking of which, did you guys see that Chugga Conroy just got another full-on shiny? We all know his infamous shiny coughing video. Did you guys see that he got a shiny Nidoran? Anyway, so because I use Agile style, it takes 2 PP. So I need to do this 4 times. 4 times, as in, like, until I run out of PP. Because, you know, because that's how math works. I can only do this 5 times before I run PP, and... What? Run out of PP, and then I gotta go heal up. You know, today my dad made me wear out the, so you know how Chinese people, they have this red Chinese jacket? Now, what can I say besides I'm not wearing one of those? But today I wore one of those. I didn't want to, though. Because my dad wanted my sister to buy it online. First, my sister bought a yellow one, like a gold one, and then she bought a red one. So now we have 2. Well, today my dad wore one, and guess who he made wear the other one? I didn't button it up or anything. You know what, today was actually warm enough to go outside in just a t-shirt? It was still chilly, it was still cold, but it was just warm enough to not have to wear anything but a t-shirt. At least for my thick ass. You know, I do better with the cold. So it was manageable for me. What the hell? Yo, this thing is trying to take me away! You know, just when I thought winter was finally ending, because it's actually not, it's actually been pretty warm lately, it's actually been not that cold lately the past couple of days. You even hear the snow melting outside. It's warm enough to not have to go out in any layers. You know, it started to feel like winter was coming to an end. But then the forecast is saying tomorrow we're going to have a big snowstorm. It's going to be huge. One of the biggest snowstorms ever seen before. No, I'm kidding. It's not going to be that big. It's just going to be a snowstorm that's going to last all of tomorrow. From what I see in the forecast, it's going to start around like 9 a.m. and maybe end around 7 p.m. Is there no way for me to check how many more PP I have? Alright, that's been 2 sets, so I just need to... I'm halfway there. I've done it 10 times. At least quick traveling in this game doesn't auto-save, so that's nice. Hello there, just a person. Tonight we should be able to get shiny Enamorus. In Russia, you don't get shiny Enamorus. Shiny Enamorus gets you. In America, you get shiny Enamorus. In Mother Russia, Enamorus gets you. Anyways, was that all the PP, I think? I think so. I already lost count. Wow. You guys want to know a reference that I never understood for years and I finally get it? In the second season of The Walking Dead, when Lori asks Daryl to go after Rick and Shane, or was it, who was it again? Or was it Rick and Glenn when they went after Herschel? Now I don't even remember. When Lori asks Daryl to go after Rick and someone, Daryl says no, and Lori's just like, how can you be so selfish? Well, in that scene, when Daryl calls her olive oil, my whole life I thought he actually meant the cooking oil. Actual olive oil, but no! I only recently learned he was referring to the Popeyes character, olive oil. Something about the character is also in a love triangle with 2 men, which was exactly the same case with Lori. I never knew that. My entire life, I thought Daryl actually called her the cooking olive oil. It's just like, selfish. Listen to me, olive oil. I was out there looking for that little girl every single day. I took a bullet and an arrow in the process. It's like, wow, my entire life I did not know that reference. I don't know, I just not really familiar with Popeyes. I'm very familiar with the Popeyes chicken sandwich. Aww. Well, there goes 2 of my PP. And it doesn't count, too. The attack didn't land, so it doesn't count. I don't think so. No, I can't evolve yet. I wonder if I watched The Walking Dead, if I watched that episode with the subtitles on, if it says olive oil spelled with a Y. Because the character's name is Olive and then O-Y-L, olive oil. Not O-I-L, like I thought my whole life. Oh, now I should do that. By the way, there's, So, Walking Dead has been on Netflix for a little while now. It seems like that license is going to expire soon, and people aren't happy. Because, you know, people are loving that the entire Walking Dead, all 11 seasons, are on Netflix. Me too! You know, I mooch off of my brother-in-law's Netflix, and the entire Walking Dead main show is on there. Yeah, I like having Walking Dead on Netflix. I don't know, I also hear online that there's talks to renew the license, renew the agreement to have the show on Netflix. Okay, there we go. Because it's either Netflix or, you know, AMC Plus. And, come on now, we all know Netflix gets more subscriptions than AMC Plus does. Alright, Weird Deer secured. Actually, I should have stayed in there. Okay, hold on. My app closed. Let me reopen my Pokemon Home app. Well, I do know I need to evolve my Glameow. Alright, let's see. So, this is taken care of. I will do this in a moment. Yeah, evolve Glameow, evolve Gibble, and I need to do this, I think, at Coronet Highlands. So, let's see. I need... That's the wrong button. No. I need this, and where was that nose picker at? Nose pass. There it is. Whoops. Oh, you wanna know some bullshit I had to deal with today? Some of the Chinese New Year's rules I had to follow. So, yesterday night, I must have showered before midnight. I must. And today, I was not allowed to wash my hair. I had to clean my body entirely before the strike of midnight, because enter the new year all clean. And then, I don't know, you just fester and ferment during the new year itself. Normally, I don't give a damn about these rules. Because to me, it ain't no damn New Year's, it's the middle of February. And these are stupid rules to follow anyway. It's the hell you mean I have to shower before midnight? And the hell you mean I'm not allowed to wash my hair when I wake up in the morning? Let me tell you, folks, I go one day without washing my hair, and it gets uncomfortable. I go one day without washing my hair, and it gets so greasy, it's uncomfortable. Well, that's why I've been checking these. That's not even what I meant to do! I think the shiny one ran away. Oh, nope, there it is. Now it ran away. I think I actually failed that. Because I didn't save beforehand. I think I actually did fail that shiny. Oh well, it's not a big deal. Because if I were to restart my game now, I would lose all my progress. And I don't even... Yeah, I failed that shiny. Oh well, it's not a big deal. Pretty sure I already have it shiny. I'm not doing what I'm doing, which is always saving the game. Because had I saved the game before I went to that massive mass outbreak, I could have reclaimed the shiny. What am I doing? Oh, these are already available to evolve. Oh, what am I doing? All I need to do is level up Gibble. Yeah, I know it's an endless paradox. When it comes to me washing my hair, the more I wash it, the greasier it gets. Because I'm washing away the natural oils. So my body just tries to replenish the oils faster. So the more I wash my hair, the greasier it gets. The greasier it gets, the more I wash it. Yeah, now I just need to evolve Gibble. What level does Gibble evolve at? Gibble evolves at 24. Wow, that's actually not that far away. I can do that. But first, let's see if I can reclaim any shiny here. Yeah, I don't even just... I just fly over them. More than likely there's a shiny. Like, I don't actually need to do anything. Well, that's been my experience shiny hunting in this game. What the hell? Man, have you guys seen all the memes that have been made over the Epstein files that have been coming out? Like, the files themselves are quite crazy. It's kind of unbelievable just how far the rot goes in our society. But aside from that, the memes coming out of it are... I don't even know what to say about the memes. Like, I saw one where someone made Epstein himself do the Raise dance. And then I saw someone where, you know, if Home Alone Kevin McAllister dubbed, I don't want to spend Christmas with any of you, I'd rather spend it with Jeffrey Epstein. The storm shows no sign of stopping. Oh, I'm sure that'll be the case tomorrow. When I look out the window tomorrow. I swear to God, watch my family abandon me tomorrow like they did last time it stormed really hard. So I'll talk about the shows in just a moment. And since tonight will be the last one of these, so I'll have to finish talking about the shows another time. I'll have to come back in the future, playing something else, and talk about the shows. Wow. Let's see if catching this will be enough to evolve Gibble. Nope, not even close. I'm really just putting off the other things I need to do to evolve some of these things. Like, I'm really putting off evolving the evolutions. This isn't even the right way. I wonder if these ones can be alpha. You know? The Pokemon that fly around, I wonder if they can be alpha. Okay, so no, nothing here. Oh, I'm already here. I may as well try to find that bag, which is right there. Oh, you want to know a game franchise that I haven't kept up with in a long time? Life is Strange. I followed the first game with Max and Chloe. I followed the second game with, I don't even remember their names anymore. And then after that, I just fell off with the series. Man, I tell you, that's one thing I can't stand about these kind of games, where you have characters that you fall in love with, you follow, but then the next game, you just don't follow those characters anymore. I mean, just look at what happened with Telltale's Walking Dead Season 3. It was a no-brainer to follow Clementine in Season 3, but no. No, they had to give us a random brand new character. They gave us Javi to follow. Like, Javi who? Why do we care about this guy? We want to follow Clementine. Sure, Clementine was in the game, but you don't play as her. Which was a no-brainer. But whatever. And now I see online that there's all this excitement going around about Max and Chloe finally returning in this, like, Life is Strange reunion game. I think that's the title. So it turns out there's been a ton of Life is Strange games that I just haven't kept up with. I briefly tried the third game, but I fell off of it. I don't know, it's like the first game was so good with following Max and Chloe. Second game, fine enough, the characters were pretty good. But then it's just like, oh, I don't care about any of these new characters. I want to see Max and Chloe again. You know, like, man, the plot twist with the very first game with Mr. Jefferson is like mind-blowing. I'm just like, what? Huh? What, huh? What even is going on anymore? You know, that's something I would love to do here on the channel. All of the, like, 5 episodic games that were staples in the past. So, the Telltale's Walking Dead games, Life is Strange, the Telltale Batman game. What else had 5 episodes? I swear there was another. Well, I'm pretty sure Dispatch, but I still haven't even played that yet. The Wolf Among Us, how about that? Where's the sequel to that? It was announced, like, 7 years ago, and we still don't have anything. Then again, since then, Telltale's kind of went under. We're never getting the Wolf Among Us sequel, are we? Okay, I think that's all the evolutions we need to get in Legends Arceus. So let's transfer them into home, and then we will do the next thing. You know, once we're done this, that means I can finally start playing games again. You know, I kind of didn't intend for this shiny hunting challenge to take like 9.5 months. What? What do you mean an idle period of time? Hasn't even been a minute. Oh my god, imagine if they were doing server maintenances right now, and I can't access home, then we are screwed if that's the case. Okay, good. Alright, now bring all of them back. Okay, so the game we're going to evolve the rest will be my shield game. That's not right. I traded for those, by the way. Just did a touch trade so I can get them registered into the home Pokemon Go Dex. So I need 3 EVs to be sent here. It's been a long time since I've been into Pokemon Shield. Spent a lot of time in this game back in the day, doing Dynamax adventures. What year did this game come out? 2019? What was that, 7 years ago? Ah, speaking of Vaporeon, or Evolutions. So how do I play this game again? Alright, so the very first thing we need to do... Eagle-eye viewers may have noticed that there was a Scyther missing. Well, that's because I'm going to trade it in this game. I already set it up. I traded one of the Scythers to my other Switch and already gave it a metal coat to hold. So I have my other Switch in front of me, my Switch Lite, and I'm going to trade for the Legends Arceus Scyther to evolve into a Scizor, instead of having to wait for one to spawn in a space-time distortion. Which honestly probably would not have taken that long. Alright, once we're done this trade, then we'll talk about the shows. If I have enough time to talk about both, honestly. You know, my other Switch actually did not have a metal coat item, so I had to first trade the item to my other Switch, and then trade the Scyther over. I'm actually going to put this into home first. And what are you going to do to stop me? Okay, so let's talk about the shows before I run out of time. So we have Monarch episode, I believe, 8? Episode 8 of Monarch to talk about, and episode 6 of Wonder Man. So let's see, this episode of Monarch. The very first thing we see is a flashback to what seems like the events I don't want to say predating, but the events leading up to the moments that we saw our characters in the past in the very first episode. So we see Lee's perspective, watching Bill and Keiko talking about, do you think we're going to get home in time to Hiroshi? Oh, the heartbreak, because we know Keiko's fate. But no, that flashback was just a dream that Senior Lee was having. And hold on, let me see, where did they go again? What was the name of that place again? Okay, so we see Lee and Duvall and the rest of their crew. They're heading back to Kazakon, the Kazakon power plant that we saw in the very first episode. Because that's the same place we saw at the very first episode where Keiko was lost, where she, fell to her death. So we see, in present day, Lee Shaw is heading back there to do something. We saw him enact his plans at the end of the last episode, blowing up the crater, but we don't know what his plan is just yet. First, hold on. You ever have nightmares about not renewing Pokemon Home? Because I didn't about Pokemon Bank. Long after Pokemon Bank shut down. Oh no, I have that subscription turned on. To really make sure I do. I have too many good things in there. I have a whole living dex. Ain't no way I'm gonna forget to turn on the subscription. Anyway, so you can see here, we only need 3 more. 1, 2, 3 more. Everything else is now filled. Now, the quickest way to get Friendship Evolution done is obviously Legends Arceus, but sadly Pokemon Home hasn't updated to be compatible yet, so the second fastest method is in this game. And when I say fastest, not really, but yeah, it is the fastest. Okay, so 1 EV at a time. Okay, so it's nighttime now, obviously, so I'm gonna get Umbreon first. And what you do is you go into Pokemon Camp, and bear with me. Bear with me. So here's what you do. You play with. How do I do this again? Wait, how do I do this again? There was a way to do this. Hold on. Oh, it's press A, not the analog stick. Okay, so you play with them, and you just keep playing with them until they're no longer amused. Anyway, so yeah, we see Lee is returning to Kazakon, exactly where Keiko died, but we don't see what he's doing there just yet. So over in America, Tim is bringing our characters back to Monarch Base, and it's very liminal at first. It just looks like a standard office building until they enter the door where we're yes, that was a big voice crack. Until they enter the door where they see the main base of operation. It's like, yeah, this is more like it. This is what Monarch should look like. So obviously we know Monarch has outposts all over the world, yada yada yada. Perdugo shows up and she's just like, well, I'm out of options. People here seem to think that because of your bloodline, because Monarch is your legacy, maybe you have some idea about what Lee is doing. Because he just blew up the site in Alaska. Sure, the gamma rays emitting from there are gone, but everywhere else started to spike. These are the same readings we were picking up before G-Day. He doesn't necessarily want to start another G-Day. He seems like he wants to prevent the next one. Okay, is that it? I'm waiting for Eevee to have a certain icon. There we go! Now, once you play with Eevee enough, you... What do I do again? Okay, how do I do this again? Menu. Cooking! Okay, so you just have to pick stuff. Pick something. What do you think those sausages are made of? What? I did not mean to do that. It doesn't really matter what you choose. So I'll just, like, even everything out. LeChonks. Yep, those... LeChonks. Now, you don't need me to tell you, you're cooking right now. You don't want to overdo it. You don't want the flames too high to burn. Have you ever tasted burnt curry before? It's nasty. You know, when you're reheating curry, you could really benefit from the double boiler instead of directly over the gas flames, because that's real easy to burn. You know, sometimes when I'm reheating food that's in big pots or whatnot, I like to stick it into the oven as long as the pot is oven friendly, you know? Don't want the ones with the plastic handles going into the oven. Anyway, so yeah. So they don't know where Lee Shaw is, they don't even know what he's doing, so let's go find out. So that's the present day stuff. So in the past, we continue in 1955. Remember last time we were in 1955? Lee had just taken a trip to Japan to meet the rest of his friends. And they found out Godzilla's still alive after getting, you know, face first of nukes. Anyway, so the whole process I just did, I need to do it again. I need to do it 2 times before Eevee evolves. And because I have 3 Eevees to evolve, I need to do it 6 times! It is the fastest method. Before Pokemon Home updates and makes Legend ZA compatible. So in the flashback, we see that their new superior, Mitch, yeah, he's very not happy about these guys and what they're wasting taxpayer monies on, or more like the funding of the U.S. Army. So Mitch pulls a real dirty move. He's just like, you know, I did some digging into Miss Mura's past. She has some things she's hiding. You know, something about, like, for a Japanese woman, untrustable, those Japanese. You gotta remember, it's the 1950s. Tensions between America and Japan were quite high. So yeah, Mitch is a pretty big dick, as people in the military often are depicted in these kind of projects. So this really pisses off Bill, to the point he tries to give him a knuckle sandwich, but, you know. Almost did, but whatever. So, they are now kind of demoted to working in Monarch's basement. Bill is so mad, he punches a hole in the wall about how Keiko is being treated. You know, none of them are happy about this situation, but Lee has an idea. The two of you make a map, you know? General Puckett wants to know where these monsters are. If there are these titans everywhere, why haven't we ever seen them? So, make a map. Make a map showing where they could be. Lee is telling them they have 3 days. 3 days before the next, like, funding event, whatnot. So you have 3 days. 3 days to make a map. And so they do just that. Anyway, so in present day, we see our characters in that same basement. And May even points out, wow, there's a big hole in the wall. Who did this? And Tim's just like, I don't know, I inherited this office from someone who had anger management issues. Well, it's pretty funny. We see, like, damn near 60 years apart, that hole in the wall was never fixed. The same place where Kate and Kentaro's grandparents worked, now Tim works in. Anyway, so they go through all of the Monarch paperwork that Tim never threw away a single piece of paper of. And they realize, wait a second, this paper right here that Kate found is a paper saying, like, anything that belonged to Dr. Keiko Mira will now be signed off to belong to her next of kin or whatever, her closest relative, which would be her husband, William Randa, signed off by Colonel Leland Shaw. It's like, wait a second, where did Grandma Keiko die again? Ah, Kazakon. That's where Lee Shaw is right now. He's back at the place where he lost Keiko. So they figured out just like that where Lee is at. Where in the world he's at. And I think now I just need to level you up. Watch 2 not be enough? I'm pretty sure 2 is enough. I should have used something else. I should have just used a small EXP candy. What a waste of a rare candy. No? It's still not evolving? I could have sworn it was 2 times. Don't tell me it was 3. Alright, let me try going into battle. Well, I just wasted a rare candy. So let's see. In the past, we see Bill and Keiko, you know, them bonding and getting closer. Keiko put on these, like, Japanese lights into their office so that they can have better lighting to work. They look more like Chinese lanterns, but who cares? So they start talking some nerd shit, some science stuff. And, you know, they talk, they get closer. Keiko is just like, well, Hatch wasn't wrong. There is something I'm hiding. But Bill, now that he knows her, he's like, I don't care. Maybe it is 3 times. Is it actually 3 times I gotta do this? Not 2? Oh well, we got time. And I got shows to talk about. If that is the case, scratch what I said. It's 9 times I gotta do this, not 3. What? Not 6. Anyway, so yeah. Bill and Keiko, they're growing closer. And we even see that Lee is listening in. Poor guy, you know? Because we literally saw in the previous episode, we see that Lee has fallen in love with Keiko. But you know, it seems like Lee himself has set both Keiko and Bill to become closer. And it even seemed like Bill wasn't that interested at first. At least not to the level that Lee was interested. And also, it's a small detail, but it's a detail that'll come in handy later. While they're working, well, Bill is kind of messy. He leaves, like, food on the table, which ants get to, and ants start crawling all over their paper. It's like, we are, like, several stories below ground. How are ants even getting in here? But just remember that detail for later. There are ants on the paper. Alright, so back in present day, first of all, our characters were even debating with Verdugo, like, you know, send us to go to Kazakon to talk down Lee. She's just like, no, I'm not going to send amateurs into the field. Of course I'm going to send some trained professionals. Oh, you gotta love May, because she's just like, the last time you sent in trained professionals, where did they end up? I'll tell you where they ended up. Dead. Dead when Godzilla showed up. And only Tim survived the helicopter crash. And she's just like, alright, fine. You guys go. Just because, you know, they made a pretty compelling argument. Lee wanted them there. You know, Lee wanted to finish this whole thing together. So Lee's not going to attack them. He's not going to shoot them. He's not going to tell them to go away. Lee wanted them there with him. Why? Because, well, they are his closest family. His closest remaining family. And I guess May is there, is just there also. So yeah, they made it to Kazakon. They made it to the abandoned nuclear plant. Our characters, they go in. And, well, while they're making their way in, Tim, he steps on something. Everyone tells him to freeze, and he's kind of freaking out. Until they shine a light on what he stepped on. Alright, it's just the shedded, molted exoskeleton of the creatures that were found 60 years ago that got Keiko. You know what happens when a creature molts, right? It grows bigger. And we saw these things 60 years ago. So imagine how many times they molted since then. Alright, that's 3 times. Let's see if that's enough. You know, they tried for the element of surprise, but dumbasses, obviously they would anticipate this. So they get guns pointed at them by Duvall, and Shaw shows up, wants to talk, only to Kate. Let's see, flashback to the past again. While Bill is working alone, he really can't figure it out. You know, where are these monsters hiding? Where are all these titans hiding? If they're so big, why have no one ever spotted them before? Why have there never been any reports or documentations of them before? Okay, what am I missing? Why is Eevee not evolving? I don't think in this game Eevee needs to know a Dark-type move, because no, that's only for Sylveon. Unless this thing does know... Wait a second, hold on. Aw, you know what I forgot to do? You know what I forgot to do? Maybe that's why. You know what I forgot to do? I forgot to put this on! Alright. Let's try this again. Oh my god, I forgot the soothe bell. Yo, this Eevee is eating good. You know, I'm fattening this Eevee up. So, in the past, we see Bill alone just wondering. He's about to give up. He can't do it. He can't figure it out. He can't solve it. Until he notices on his map, the paper on his desk, an ant crawling around and going through one of the holes on the paper. And he figured it out. Wait a second. He turns the paper around. That's it. Maybe they're underground. Maybe there's a whole realm underneath ours. One could say perhaps a hollow earth. So he seems to have figured it out. He figured out that the Titans, they're underground. Maybe there's a whole other world underneath ours, below the surface. He would not know how right he is, goddamn. So he rushes over to Keiko's home at the dead of night, just super ecstatic to tell her the news. You know, he just barges in, is like, I'm sorry to really just, you know, I'm sorry to drop in this late, but I figured it out, Keiko. I figured it out. So after he tells Keiko, you know, Keiko is kind of like, shh, you can't be here. You got to keep your voice down. I'm just thinking, like, do you have someone over? But no, after Bill tells Keiko what he just discovered, what he realized, yes, it sounds crazy. Little do they know that it's fact, like he cracked the code. But yeah, there is someone else over at Keiko's place. A little boy comes out, and she introduces to Bill her son, Hiroshi. It turns out, Keiko, she already had Hiroshi. Her husband, or whoever Hiroshi's real dad is, biological father, he's gone. He's already dead. Keiko was saving up money by working at Monarch to try to, you know, I forget the word. Try to get her son over to America. And only recently did the visas actually go through. Keiko even says outright that, you know, people don't really trust her, they don't treat her that well, given the fact that she's a Japanese woman and that she is a widow with a son. So we don't know what happened to Keiko's husband, we don't know who Hiroshi's biological father is, but what this says is William Randa is not Hiroshi's biological father. That's kind of crazy. William Randa is not Kate and Kentaro's biological grandfather. I mean, if you think about it, we know Keiko dies, but before that, we know Keiko and William got married, I'm pretty sure. So that would make Bill Hiroshi's stepfather. And with Hiroshi's biological mother dead, he would take after his stepfather's last name, thus Hiroshi Randa. Because if not, then I think Hiroshi would have taken his mother's name, Hiroshi Miura. I don't know, that's kind of crazy to think. Bill is not Kate and Kentaro's biological grandfather. So anyways, in present day, Kate speaks with Lee and he basically tells her, there is a whole other world down there. You know, the study that Bill and Keiko did, it's real. I know it's real because I've been there. I've seen it. And I know you don't believe me. First of all, that's a huge bombshell that Lee Shaw has been to Hollow Earth. He's seen it for himself. And he pretty much explains what Godzilla's intentions are. First of all, why is he only speaking to Kate? Because Kate looked into his eyes. Kate knows that Godzilla is not just some mindless beast set on destruction. No. They know that Godzilla is intelligent and knows exactly what he's doing. Lee puts it, Godzilla is just trying to keep his kind down there and trying to keep our kind up here. And what is Lee's plan? Well, with enough explosives, with enough detonation, here at these locations, where all of these rifts are, well, with enough boom power, with enough Raise power, you can blow them up, sealing all entrances, all of the entry points. Lee is trying to seal the surface world off from Hollow Earth. That's what his intentions are. And he's doing it here to honor, you know, his lost love, Keiko, who he lost 60 years ago. Okay, first of all, I'm going to save. So that was Umbreon. Now I need Espeon, so I need to change it to Day. I also need to remember to move the Shell Bell. Whoops. I'll just do... That's not right. There we go. So anyways, enough discussion. He sets off the detonations. Well, actually, no, before that. There was another scene in the past where Lee does go and visit General Puckett, where, you know, Puckett is pretty disappointed with Lee. And he's just like, well, I think you'll find that in these files, there's going to be information that has been redacted by Hatch. He also drops a bombshell onto General Puckett. Godzilla's alive. We didn't kill it. You're sure? Yes, I saw it with my own eyes. In Japan, when I went, like, last week, I saw with my own eyes that it is still alive. And then Lee pretty much is just like, well, I trust that there will be no question, no challenging Dr. Mura and Randa's positions in Monarch. Why would there be? You know, said General Puckett. So, yeah. Lee, in revealing that Godzilla is still alive, their big bomb wasn't strong enough to kill it. Well, he may have just secured his friend's positions in Monarch, but he also, you know, he also set the world on a dangerous course. Who knows what a military general would do with the information like that? The fact that they threw everything at Godzilla and didn't kill it. And if there are other monsters like Godzilla out there, well, either they are screwed or they need way bigger firepower. And firepower that destructive is dangerous in anyone's hands. Anyways, back in present day, yeah, Lee sets off the explosives, so they need to run for dear life, because the whole place is about to go boom. Okay, do you not want curry yet? So as they're running out, well, we see the grown-up version of the insectoids we saw 60 years ago. And it is huge. It kind of looks like twin mold. You know, the Majora's Mask boss, it kind of resembles twin mold, at least with how big it is, with the size. Or maybe even Gigantamax Centiscorch. Wasn't there a Bakugan that was like a centipede kind of design? Yeah, it is a huge, disgusting creature. Oh, if I saw a centipede that size in real life, I'm just gonna accept my fate. Just prepare to see the white light. Anyway, so yeah, the giant centipede creature attacks. You know, Kate almost gets got, but thankfully the explosive kind of damaged the foundation, so there's tumbling rubble everywhere. But it seems like, oh no, we lost May. May fell down the hole, kind of like we saw Keiko fall down. And then one by one we see all our characters fall down. But it's not just some dark, deep, dark abyss, no. This is a portal to Hollow Earth. So it seems like next episode, we're going to see our characters in Hollow Earth. And that's pretty much the episode. I don't know, it's kind of crazy. I didn't think the show would actually tackle Hollow Earth. But you know, these guys are still years away, like a decade away. Almost a decade away from other Hollow Earth discoveries, like Shimo, Scar King, and other titans that reside down there. So yeah, there you go. The 8th episode of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Pretty good show. I like it. Are you serious? There you go, buddy. You made it. Alright, now let's talk about Wonder Man, Episode 6. So after the events of the you know, what happened at the house with the Chamoy candy operation, and just getting a call from Janelle saying, well, the callbacks have been pushed up to now. Get your ass over to Von Kovac's house. So Trevor is driving them over to Von Kovac's residence, and Simon, you know, he's pretty pissed off. He's pretty pissed off that he was supposed to be resting last night, or even at the gym, but no, he got caught up in all of the shenanigans because of Trevor. So he kind of blames Trevor for not being well rested, which, like, I don't know, it's just a series of unfortunate events. Couldn't exactly predict this being the case. So they make it back, or not make it back, they make it to Von Kovac's giant mansion. And, you know, Simon is, he's very paranoid. He really wants this role. Because he's overanalyzing everything like he normally does. He notices one pair of shoes in front of the door, so he's just like, one pair of shoes. That means someone else is here. Someone else got the call back. Or does this mean, like, if it is one other person who got a call back, does this mean Von Kovac is like a shoes off kind of person inside, or does shoes on? Like, do I put on my shoes? Do I take my shoes off before I walk in? I didn't want to chat. No, wait! Come back! Okay, menu. But yeah, a lady opens the door and lets them in. And hilariously, we do see Simon take off his shoes. I don't know, me personally, I think I would have, like, carried my shoes around. If anyone asked me, why are your shoes off? Oh, I didn't know if I needed to take them off. I could put them back on. Like, if he just left the shoes at the door, it's like, dude, where are your shoes? Then again, I also understand him just taking off his shoes and just being at... the shoes just being at the front door. So anyways, there's like... 3 other guys who got callbacks to Wonder Man. Now, none of them are important. The only thing I want to point out is one of them said he just finished working on a Chris Nolan project. It's like, wow, that's actually a pretty big deal. This dude just got done working on a Christopher Nolan project. That's actually a pretty big deal. So anyways, they get called into Von Kovac's, like, boardroom or whatever, and by that I mean a room with a board on the wall with a bunch of designs and drawings and stuff. We see Easter eggs on the walls, like Captain America's shield, Thor's design in Love and Thunder. Horrible movie, by the way. And then Von Kovac, he just starts playing music. In a way, it's kind of like, well, imagine you're Wonder Man, you're blasting through the galaxy, I guess. I don't really know the fictional Wonder Man character's story. So imagine you're drifting through space and this song plays. Something like that, I guess. But then Kovac, he wants to do like an exercise. So he first has them all pair up. Initially, Simon wanted to, you know, bounce his acting off of Trevor's, but, you know, I guess the teacher, Mr. Kovac, chose their partners for them. Oh, I forgot to mention, beginning of the episode was actually a flashback to Trevor's audition as the Mandarin, with a big beard and everything. I forgot to mention that. So kind of interesting, the very beginning of the movie is a flashback to Trevor's audition for the Mandarin. And he didn't even know it was an audition for the Mandarin. Okay, I think I may actually have to do it 3 times. So, he pairs them up. They try to read the script for Wonder Man, but Kovac is just like, no, this isn't working. Let's forget the script, and let's actually just see what you guys are made of. You know, try to find the fine line between fiction and not fiction. I want to see who you people actually are, deep down, your actual character. So he gives them each instructions, and they have to act off of that. So he first tells Trevor and the other guy, it's like, alright, Trevor, you're his wife, and you, other guy, you hate her, you despise her, but she's also your reason for living. Go! And on the spot, they have to come up with their performance. Ooh, I tell you, if I was an actor, and this is what I was put up to do, in the casting role, it's like, oh, I think I would have folded. It's like, damn. I don't think I've ever seen a casting like this before. I mean, it'd still be mad fun. I would be honored to participate, but still, I don't think I would get the role. If that's the case, I'm not getting that goddamn role. Anyway, so up next is Simon and the other guy. He basically tells Simon, like... No, he tells the other guy, you think she's cheating on you, and then tells Simon, you think you're losing yourself, and you flinch a lot. You have no eyelashes. The sun is always in your eyes, or the light is always in your eyes. So Simon, he puts up this like over-the-top performance that Kovac is able to pick out. Well, you just copied the performance from something. I forget what he said. And so he's pretty disappointed. So Simon is feeling pretty down now, thinking he just screwed it up. You know, this is the role of a lifetime. This is the role for Simon Williams. And he just put on a performance that Von Kovac is not impressed with. So Simon, you know, he's just got the stern face. Like, aw shit, I just screwed this up. And also, during his performance, he just smashes Kovac's wine glasses and plates, and I'm just like, I can see your vision of that trying to sell the idea, but you're also smashing this guy's property. So it's like, probably wasn't the best move to do. Anyways, as all the characters are chatting, having a good time, enjoying life, just smiling, laughing, Kovac comes in and is just like, how is everyone doing? Let's try a different exercise. And Simon just jumps at the opportunity like, yes, I would love for a second chance. Kovac's like, alright. You and your partner, Simon, and your acting partner, this time, you pretend you're Simon's old classmate. Or, no, he said, pretend you are someone from Simon's life. Whoever, anyone. And the dude's just like, I am going to be Simon's classmate. Alright, perfect. Anyway, so yeah, he has that to act off of. The dude just pretends to call Simon. It's like, hey. Hey, loser. Hey, freak. Oh, it's you again. Yeah, that's right. Oh, I got Sylveon. I guess that Eevee had a fairy move. Okay, that's fine. Now I just need to make sure the next one I get is Espeon. Alright, let me see. Do you have a fairy move? You do. I need to get rid of Baby Doll Eyes. So his acting is just like, I know your secret. You're a freak. You've been a freak this whole time. We all been making fun of you behind your back. And Simon just gets enraged. And we know what happens when Simon Williams gets angry. He just punches the guy in his face. Like killing him on the spot. Just Liu Kang's him. Or it would more be like Jackie Briggs with her fatality. But still, he just kills a dude on the spot, just punches him right through his face, hollows out his head. But thankfully, it was just a dream. It was just a nightmare Simon was having. Because remember, he was out all night with Trevor instead of getting some rest. So he dozed off at Von Kovac's place. Thank God it was just a nightmare. Because, you know, Simon puts it best himself. If anyone ever knew about his powers, he would never act again. But sadly, you know, Von Kovac just isn't really a fan of Simon so far. His acting is subpar, at least in his eyes for now. And also, he just dozed off. He's just like, oh, am I boring you, Simon? So, Simon, really believing he just screwed everything up, you know? His performance wasn't well received, and he just fell asleep. So, Simon just steps out and takes a minute. He steps onto Kovac's balcony, where Trevor goes and tries to cheer him up. You know, once again, Simon breaks down about, like, he wants to see the real me, who my character is, but I can't show my real self, otherwise I'd never act again. Well, after a pep talk from Trevor, they go over the actual Wonder Man lines, and then they actually do the Wonder Man lines performed in front of Kovac. Well, they're then escorted out of the Kovac residence by the lady who greeted them first. They're just like, so that's it? Oh, well, okay, let's go. But Kovac stops and is like, where are you going? I didn't want to tell this in front of the other guys, but you are Wonder Man, Simon Williams. I can't see anyone else in this role. And you, Trevor, are Barnaby's. So Simon got the role. And Trevor got the role. I mean, Trevor also auditioned for Wonder Man, but he got the role of Barnaby's. So good on them both. Did you guys know Tom Hiddleston originally auditioned for Thor, but then he got Loki? So, you know, sometimes when you audition for a character, they see you as another character that you fit better as. And you know, that's not the only time this story happened. Walking Dead, there was no Daryl in the comics or Merle. Norman Reedus auditioned for the role of Merle, but they liked him so much that they created Daryl as the brother of Merle. And well, we've had Norman Reedus grace our screens as Daryl Dixon for the past 16 years. And going. So yeah, Simon got the role of Wonder Man. Trevor got the role of Barnaby. They are driving back in shock. So Simon drives over to Trevor's place, drops him off. They each tell each other congratulations. Trevor gets out the car, and I don't know what the hell was going on with the seatbelt. I don't know, that looked weird as hell. Anyone else notice that? When Trevor got out of the car, his seatbelt looked kind of weird. Alright, so Simon drops off Trevor, drives off, and immediately, right after Trevor, a black van shows up, and, well, Trevor's taken into the black van by Department of Damage Control. And I'm just thinking, Simon, you didn't see that? You didn't see in your rear view mirror any of that. Whatever. So yeah, Cleary has stopped by to pretty much abduct Trevor. And it's just like, where have you been? You're not answering my calls. Yeah, you're going back to jail. No, you can't do that. Because, you're right. Simon Williams is enhanced and very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. A huge threat to the world, even. And, you know, I can get you evidence. But I need time. And Cleary agrees. How the hell... Can you imagine this for a second? Like, I don't know. 6 months pass. 9 months pass. And then, a year later, Cleary sees a movie trailer come out, like, Wonder Man, starring Simon Williams, and Trevor Slattery. Like, wait a second, I thought you were gathering evidence for me. And secretly, the whole time you were filming a movie together. Anyways, I have no idea how Trevor's gonna get out of this pickle of his. And yeah, when is Simon gonna learn that he's been backstabbed? Well, not really, you know, at first, but yeah, Trevor completely sided with Simon now. Man, I still can't believe Cleary, he went after Simon of all people, you know? He was already poking his nose around Jersey City when Kamala Khan was first becoming Miss Marvel. Oh, but she gets a pass because she's just a teenage girl. But Simon Williams, no. He's just a man trying to take off his acting career. No, he's a threat. A major threat. Super villain kind of material. But anyways, yeah, Simon actually got the role of a lifetime. At least, you know, his favorite character. You love to see it. Man, if I was an actor, you know who I would love to play? If I was an actor, I would love to play Spider-Man, but I can't. First and foremost, I'm not white. And, well, we know for a fact that Peter Parker being displayed on the screen must be white. So, yeah, even if I was a good actor, even if I was ripped, even if I fit all the descriptions, I could still never play Spider-Man because I'm not white. I can never play any other characters like that either. I can never be Superman, I can never be Batman, because I ain't white. And you know, me personally, if I saw an Asian Spider-Man, like an actually Peter Parker, if I saw an Asian Batman or Superman on screen, I'd be pretty pissed. Like, that's not who the character's supposed to be. As much as I would love to play those big characters if I were an actor, deep down I think I would have to decline. Just because I know this isn't right. The fans would absolutely know it's not right, and I, as a fan, would know. I am not Superman. I am not Batman. I am not Spider-Man. But that's just me. But at least Simon William, you know, lucky enough for him, Von Kovac doesn't necessarily care that his original character was white. And also, Wonder Man as a whole isn't really that big a character. Prior to the show, nobody really cared about Wonder Man. So, like, nobody cares if they race bent him or not. I think the dude is doing an amazing job performing Simon Williams. Now it's gonna be hard to go back to the Aquaman films, because I'm just gonna see Simon Williams whenever I see Black Manta. Anyway, so there you go. I'll talk about the rest of the shows another time. I'll come back someday and talk about the rest of the shows. But for now, this is going to be the finale, because this is it. Once we evolve this Eevee, well, we're done. And Shiny Enamorus is mine. Still? How many times did I do that? Was that only 2? Can you believe my dad and his friends are still going? Still playing Mahjong? They've been playing for like 9 hours. Okay, maybe I do need to do this one more time. Can you believe this is indeed the fastest method? Maybe there is another faster method and I just don't know about it. Too bad Legend ZA isn't compatible with home yet. So what are you guys up to, huh? You guys ready for that winter storm happening tomorrow? I see here on my weather app it says, winter storm warning. These conditions are expected by 4 a.m. But then I see on the actual forecast it says 60% starting at 9 a.m. And then 9 a.m. all the way to, 6 p.m. Let's see, 9 a.m. is 60%, 10 a.m. is 70%, and then from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. 75%, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. 70%, 5 p.m. 65%, and then finally 6 p.m. to 45%. You want to hear something that a friend of mine and I kind of went back and forth about again? So, you already know what's a deal breaker for me. If I meet someone and she smokes, you already know that's a deal breaker for me. Like, I really just cannot handle smoking. So, if she were to smoke, that's a deal breaker for me. So, I asked my friends this. I told them, if she smokes, that's a deal breaker for me. What's a deal breaker for you? My friend said, personality. I'm just like, damn, that's kind of a lame answer. Like, no shit, personality can make or break the relationship. And, you know, I just tried to actually ask him, like, is that it? Personality? Nothing else. Nothing else in the world is a deal breaker for you. He's just like, what do you want me to say? How about your answer? Because, like, really, personality and that's it. That's the only thing that's a deal breaker for you. You know? So, everything else is A-okay in your book. It's just personality. She could drink, she could smoke, she could kill, she could rob, she could peg, and all of that is okay. But as long as her personality is on point, she's a keeper. It's like, really, brother? That's it? That's the only thing. Personality, nothing else. It's like, you already you can see my answer. Like, smoking, that's a deal breaker for me. It's like, you really don't understand the question, do you? Did you get enough sleep last night? Ah, there we go. Now, fingers crossed, this is Espeon. After all that work. There's no reason it shouldn't be. Okay, thank you. Thank goodness. Alright, so after like an hour, we finally have the 3 that we need. Now all that's left to do is deposit them into home. Shiny Arachnid by chance? No. Man, I'm gonna have a surprise waiting for me the next time I open my game. Oh, also. No, I'll do that after, actually. I need to change the time back. This is it, folks. Oh my god, I'm so excited! Spent all this time doing this, and it's finally come to an end. This is it. There's nothing else to do after this. This is truly it. Okay. You've done it. Being able to play P3P. No one has ever been able to play that before. Okay, so just 1 second. Now, if I open the Pokemon Home app on my phone, if I go here, you can see it is done. Every one of my home Pokedexes is done, including Pokemon Go. If I tap this, brilliant! We're one step closer to fulfilling my dream of creating a grand Pokedex. I see you've registered every single Pokemon in the Hisui Pokedex. You are most certainly the right one to entrust with this monumental task. Absolutely brilliant! I hope you keep up the fantastic work. Okay, did that say I still need to claim it, or is it already in my Pokemon? Whoops, what am I doing? What? No, I still need to claim it. Down here? No, this one. Mystery gifts. You can already see I claimed the rest. It's just this one I've been saving. Claim. Alright, claimed. Now, let's go back to... This is so annoying. Let's go back to home on the Switch and send it into the game. First of all, I need to change the time back to normal. You know, Pokemon Home cannot be opened at the same time, both on Switch and phone. One of them has to be closed. It's stupid, but it is the way it is. Okay, if I go into newest, there it is. Shiny Enamorus from Pokemon Home. I'm just gonna go ahead and put it with the rest of the shiny legendaries we worked so hard to get. Now let's go into the game and take a look. You know, everything in that box, because they came from another game, they're all in Strange Balls. Even the Cherish Ball turns into a Strange Ball. So at least thematically it fits. Everything matches. All the Pokemon in that box are in Strange Balls. What the hell was that? Did you guys hear that? Okay, hold on. Let me just do one thing on my end first before we take a look. Give me a second. Okay, let's take a look. There we go. Shiny Enamorus. Let's take a look. There we go. All that work for Shiny Enamorus. Let's see her with the rest. There we go. We have all of them. After all this, we're finally done. After all this work, we finally completed our Pokédex. Everything is completed. Not only is this shiny hunting quest done, not only is my Pokédex done, but now every single Pokédex I have in Pokemon Home is complete, including Pokemon Go, which is as updated as it can be as of this moment. So yes, there we go, folks. That's it. That's it. We are done. That is everything I'm going to do for this challenge. The Pokédex is complete at long last. And I will end it here. This challenge was a long time in the making, but it has now finally come to an end. So next time, I will actually start playing a game again. No more shiny hunting for a while. Maybe. I will see you guys next time for what I decide to play next. And I think you know exactly what I'm playing next. It's been a long time coming. So thank you everyone for staying tuned this whole time, and I will see you next time. Goodbye everyone.